Welcome back to I don't even know what episode at this point.
It is
Uh,
our first full return to recaps and previews, and we're going to start that rotation going.
yeah,
But I think it's maybe like
but
6 or 7 for the season.
yeah, first order of business, man. Thank you guys for reaching 100 subscribers for us.
Let's go.
First milestone, hopefully of many. And then if it goes the way we want it to, man, you guys can be like, hey, we were there
You were
from
the
day one.
first, the
Yeah,
top 100.
yeah. But thank you guys. We appreciate that. Big milestone, I guess, or small milestone and a big milestone and a whatever. Skip that, man. Um, let's go right into our best bets recap. Not too hot of a weekend for the
Garrett
boys over
Nussmeier
here.
went under. That's the only bet I placed,
Yeah.
right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you went 1-3 because Texas lost. Arch didn't go over, and what was the other one?
Alabama.
Oh yeah,
Come on.
I
I
started.
said I didn't have faith in them for the year, and I didn't think they'd be a good team. But this is Florida State, and this is the only game I'm gonna have faith in them.
And they
They do
proved
that.
you wrong.
Yeah.
I started off hot with 3-0, and then went to 3-5.
There we go.
Moving to 3-6 overall. Not very good. Back at it to my shenanigans. Hopefully we can bounce back this week. But speaking of the games of this past weekend, let's go straight into some reactions here. First one being the Friday night game. Auburn wins in a shootout versus the Bears in Waco there. What were your thoughts on that game?
It was a great game, very fun to watch, even though the score was kind of. My main takeaway is if Jackson Arnold can play solid, if he does what he does this against Baylor, take care of the football, not turn it over, run the ball well. If he elevates his passing game just a tiny little bit, this is going to be a strong Auburn team that can really, really compete as the year goes by in the ACC.
Yeah, I think they'll be a tough out for a couple teams. Jackson Arnold really showed off his tough running ability and really made a lot of plays out there, mostly with his legs. I mean, for Baylor, their offense looked good, but again, their defense struggled and could not stop Auburn. So I don't have a lot of aspirations here with Baylor. I thought if they won this game, and their defense saw improved, they could have some Big 12 aspirations here.
I mean, the Big 12 is still wide open. Yeah. Iowa State has looked good. I will say that they're looking, after 2 weeks, they're looking like the favorite, surely. But Kansas State struggled mightily, much to my dismay. So that's a decent takeaway for Bill. And you didn't have too bad a game against Auburn. It was the defense came short at the end. Back to Auburn, though. We talked about it last week. Really wanted to see how Jackson Arnold showed out and how this team showed up. And I think that this is kind of the strong impression we want to make them week one.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it'll be a week-by-week basis here with this Auburn team. But, hey, they showed some potential there Friday night. Moving on to, your game, the Buckeyes. They win in a defensive battle just as we thought.
Yeah.
Well, we thought an opposite result, but a defensive battle nonetheless. Yeah, man, give me some of your thoughts. I want to hear here.
I thought the defense played really well, obviously. 2 touchdowns. One of them was a long touchdown with, surprisingly, Julian Sain played a really great game. Very accurate.
That catch
and
by
made
Cardinal
really well
Tate,
decisions. But that catch by Cardinal, I think that could have been Julian Sain's worst throw of the day, and it was recovered well by Cardinal Tate and a crazy catch. But for the Texas defense, they played really well. Obviously, they had the penalties that hurt them on the first touchdown drive. Then the second one was a deep play. Other than that, they completely stepped up. Ohio State's defense, though, that is a dominating force that has replenished very well from last year's championship team. That defensive line stood up and did what they needed to do, showed what they needed to do. Sonny Styles is incredible. He was all over the place. That's another one of my takeaways. Look for him in the middle. And even outside, he was looking phenomenal. And Caleb Downs, Texas was just doing anything they could to avoid him. So that's a takeaway. We've seen Texas try to do that in different games, and the way they avoided, say, Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant against Michigan a year ago, they tried to do this against Ohio State with Caleb Downs, and they failed. Well, they didn't go to Caleb Downs, but their offense failed because of so much area being taken away, and how much faith Matt Patricia has I think is just going to increase how much he has on Caleb Downs. He was phenomenal. Um, for the Ohio State offense, Jeremiah Smith, not the greatest game. He had the 2 drops. He wasn't bracketed the same way he was against Texas a year ago in the semifinals. But he didn't play. He didn't have the 3 yards. He had a better game, but he didn't have a Jeremiah Smith game. I don't think that's going to be much of an issue going forward. I think Texas just has a phenomenal defense. Julian Stein looked really good. That's what you wanted him to look at, especially against such a strong defense, taking care of the football, being accurate, making smart decisions. And I think the more attractive quarterback play will come soon enough with him. He has all the talent in the world. The running backs did get stuffed a couple of times. I mean, new O-line, new running backs, that's going to happen. I did like what they were able to do. Peoples had some good carries here and there, so that was good. Now for the more interesting stuff for my
Yeah,
area,
tell me what you
the
think, man.
Texas Longhorns.
Tell me what you thought of Arch Manning. Are you concerned? Are you
I am
maybe
not concerned. I have just been brought back to reality. I'd been in the dreamlands and La La
everyone
Land.
has been?
Everyone had. I think the expectations for Arch should have been the similar ones to the ones Cyan had. Like just take care of and I don't think he exactly lived up to them necessarily, but he made some impressive throws. I think he made the hardest throws. That one to Andres on the sideline, and even the touchdown were really impressive. But he missed a lot of the easy throws. The mechanics didn't look great. He did look nervous, which I think is very important takeaway. I'm not panicking. I think we're still a playoff team. We have a couple of get-right games before we face Oklahoma in our next big game, I would say, who looked phenomenal. We'll get to more about that later. John Mateer looked great, and they obviously have a big showdown coming up this week. But our O-line, I thought, was iffy at moments. Couldn't get really push-off going sometimes on the runs. Pass pro wasn't great either. Not like it was Ohio State was protecting Sain. That's one of the big differences. Sain was clean. Arch was not clean. The run game looked good. I think once the O-line kind of figures it out, because it's obviously week 1, I think Wisner and Baxter are going to be great. Andres, I don't really know how to pronounce the name, but I think he's going to be a great tight end. He could be another gunner helm for us once this offense figures out how to get going. And obviously Wingo and Moore, they all kind of had quiet games. I do still have my expectations for Wingo to be phenomenal. I think he showed it in moments that he was open.
He was open a lot.
Yeah,
Arch just missed them.
So
some of it was scheme, some of them was him getting separation,
yeah,
but he was open quite a bit.
So my expectations of him doing that are still going to be there for him, provided the quarterback play isn't terrible. But it was more of a comeback to reality, like pulling me back from the edge than anything. I'm not super concerned. I'm just not.
Yeah. To me, I mean, I agree with most of what you said. I think the most concerning part, I knew this was going to be a defensive battle. We saw probably the 2 best out of 3 defenses in the country. So we knew both of these quarterbacks were going to struggle, but we knew that whoever managed the game better was going to win that game for his team, and that was obviously Julian Sain. I mean, Arch, he didn't make terrible decisions. He just, his mechanics, like you said, sometimes his feet were off, or what was that, second play of the game? He rolled out and completely missed, missed 5 yards short. There was a couple throws he missed by 5 to 10 yards, either long or short, and it was kind of weird. The
interception, you could tell, was the same thing. It came out wonky, and it was short.
And then also the one where the interception got called back, that should have been another one. Yeah. That was more of a bad decision. I think it was a combination of nerves, obviously, first official
against the best defense in the country, away from home.
I think the moment got to him, and the expectations got to him, and he made some mistakes and didn't manage the game as well as the guy on the other side. Exactly. And I think the biggest concern for me for Texas is, Wingo did get open. A lot of it was scheme, but I don't see a guy out wide like last year, like Bond or Golden, that can get open consistently. And I think there was a lot of struggle with Also, receivers, obviously, some plays they did, but throughout the game, just getting separation and helping Arch out and helping that O line out a little bit. I know it kind of goes hand in hand because maybe sometimes Arch didn't have time for the receivers to create that, but I
Yeah, I think
think
that's fair, but I mean, just Ryan Wingo's a true sophomore. Dalen McCutcheon, who had a catch, true freshman. Uh, DeAndre Moore, I think, is a redshirt sophomore. So it's a young team, young receiving core, which is I think by the time we get to the playoffs, I think one of them will establish themselves as that kind of get to
oh
guy.
yeah, it could be like Matt. I mean, Bond
Yeah,
started hot,
Bond
and then
started hot, and
Matthew
then it
Golden
was
obviously
golden
came
at the end of the
the
year.
best receiver on
So
that team. But
maybe we still haven't an established number one come OU, but I think come Texas A&M, come SEC championship time, I think one of them will have arisen.
yeah, I mean, and like you said, the defense elite.
Yeah, as long as they stay healthy, they're gonna be elite.
Yeah, and Colin Simmons, great player, obviously.
Yeah, the one
Um,
play that was it.
yeah, but yeah, just a great game, defensive battle. Obviously, not the result you wanted, but hey, it's out of conference. It's obviously you guys were not. Everyone thought you would win, but you weren't technically supposed to
Yeah.
win that. So not too stressed here. Moving on to a team that should be stressed and a team that should be excited. Do you think the Seminoles are back after upsetting Alabama in a crazy fashion?
I mean, what are we considering back? Are we looking at Jameis times back? Are we looking at 2 years ago
It could,
times back?
a mix, not to win the Natty, but like be in the playoff conversation and all
I
that.
think they're going to be in the playoff conversation for a little bit. I don't think they're better than Clemson, and I don't think they're better than Miami. So I don't think a third ACC team really does get in there. And I don't think they're back to the level that the Jordan Travis team was 2 years ago. I think they're going to be a much better team than they were a year ago. I think they're going to be top four in the ACC, most likely third, but I think that's their ceiling. I
Yeah,
have a phenomenal win against Alabama. They did outwork them, outplayed them, out efforted them, and that doesn't happen against Alabama.
yeah. I think what we saw is difference from Kalen DeBoer's team and Nick Saban's is not only the wins,
Yeah.
but it's also the mentality.
Mm-hmm.
We saw them get pushed around both
Yeah.
sides of the field, on the line, blocking, everything. That just wouldn't happen under Nick Saban. So I think that's the big difference. They're just as talented to me as those teams, maybe say slightly less because with NIL coming in and a lot of these teams getting the same talent. But yeah, the Seminoles, man, what a shocker! Crowd was very, very rowdy as you expect when Alabama comes in. Um, I like their quarterback, not so much throwing, but the way the threat he can bring on the run, man, is crazy. He's a rusher. They have good running backs, but he's their guy that they lean on for the run there. But yeah, man, I think the Seminoles, like you said, will be maybe could slide in there in the SEC ACC championship. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Uh, they could be in that playoff picture, especially after this big win if they take care of business against the teams they should, and maybe get another impressive win in there. But yeah, they'll be a team to watch out for sure.
All right, let's move forward to the streak ended.
Not the Undertaker.
This was bigger.
Uh-huh.
Brian Kelly finally shakes it off. LSU shakes it off. They beat your national championship pick, my Heisman pick, Cade Klubnik and the Clemson Tigers. And at Clemson's Death Valley to claim the title of the real Death Valley. What are your takeaways for this game?
I'm kidding. No, I mean I think we saw LSU's defense definitely improve, but also Clemson struggle offensively in a way I didn't think we would see him struggle. I think Cade kind of looked a little flustered at times. Harold Perkins was causing some havoc almost every other play. Obviously, Antonio Williams going down doesn't help, but they still should have been able to move the ball. I mean, they had the advantage there in the first half, second half. They didn't really, but to me, I think LSU came in and kind of punched them in the mouth coming out that second half, and to me that was the difference. Garrett Nussmeier made just the right enough plays to get that team the W, and Cade kind of win the game. He had multiple times to come down and
Mm-hmm.
tie it or whatever, and he just couldn't take the game by the throat.
Yeah.
And it's a little concerning considering that's the type of teams he's going to be facing in the
Facing,
playoffs.
yeah.
But I think they'll get it right. They'll get some momentum with those ACC games. They'll make the championship game. They'll take care of business and win that conference. And I think kind of like what we saw last year, they put up a fight against a way over talented Texas. I
Mm-hmm.
think they'll get it right by the playoffs, and I think they could still win the whole thing. Obviously, there's a
Yeah, I
little
mean,
doubt in my head.
the
But
era of undefeated champions is
yeah,
probably over.
yeah,
So
correct. But I mean, we saw Trevor Lawrence's. What's the
he was a true freshman. Is that what you're asking?
no? I was gonna. Is the year they won? Did they lose to Notre Dame, or was that the year before?
No, that was the year.
They
Trevor
won
Lawrence won
undefeated
undefeated.
when they won the Natty. Okay,
Trevor
that's what I
Lawrence won
thought.
undefeated. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say we've seen some Clemson one-loss teams win it, but no, man. I think they'll take care of business in the conference. Obviously, on the Clemson side, obviously that was a game you should have won at home against similar level teams.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man. Moving on to LSU side, I mean, their defense holding that Clemson team to 10 points is pretty impressive. We'll see if it kind of stays constant throughout the season. And like I said, yeah, Garrett Nussmeier just made the right enough plays and
Yeah.
led his team to victory, which is all you can ask for on the road against a top 5 team. So.
Yeah. You summarized it pretty well. Garrett Nussmeier has 100% cemented himself as the Heisman favorite after 1 week only, obviously. Other favorites like Klubnik, he looked frazzled, as you said. He had a low completion percentage, low passing yards, low stats, etc. He couldn't lead a game-winning drive. Same thing goes for Arch Manning, who's another one of the favorites. Drew Aller faced an easy team. He could be one who you look forward to in that Penn State team, which looked really good, obviously, as they should in that kind of a game. But the biggest takeaway is that defense getting stops against a good offense. That's something that for years, the entire Jaden Daniels era really, or more accurately, since the year they won the national championship, they've struggled to do. And this defense finally looks like it may be ready to step up and make a long, deep run.
Hey,
stopping
wait,
big
weeks,
offense.
man.
It was the third weeks, brother.
Yeah.
That's what they need. Two is not enough. They needed a third, brother.
Yeah. No, but great game. A lot of stacked matchups here
Yeah.
in this week 1, which was great.
One of the
see.
best week ones of all time, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, moving on to the last one here on a Sunday. The Hurricanes stormed the Irish. A little bit of a shocker to me, at
A
least.
little bit, yeah.
But I mean, they're looking really good.
They're
man.
looking really good.
What are your thoughts?
Carson Beck finally looks like himself after a down year, marred with injuries, and then you obviously have an injury to the throwing arm that's going to be very concerning. But he looked very well out there. Threw with accuracy, threw with poise, made good decisions, led game-winning drives. That's what you want to see from your quarterback. Most importantly, it looks like that defense and that secondary for Miami is no longer a liability. So that, I think, is what's going to be most important in their ACC campaign. I do think this year they're most likely a playoff team after how they looked in that win against Notre Dame, even if they do end up falling to Clemson in an ACC championship game. So I think that's one to look out for them. They look great. The passing game, I think, can be great. And the running. That offense, I have zero worries. Any worries I had about that offense were Carson Beck injury issues, obviously coming off such a. And if he keeps playing like that, I think that's it. It's going to be a really good team.
Yeah, I think Miami side, that first touchdown throw with Carson Beck, I mean, the receiver had some separation, nothing crazy, but he only put it only where the receiver can get it, right on stride. Beautiful accuracy, something we didn't see last year.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know if it was his second where that insane catch from that receiver. Obviously, a little overthrown, but I mean, great play by the receiver. I think the running game, what's his name? Is it Fletcher? Ran with some power.
Yeah, he looked good.
but I think the swagger from Miami's back. You can see it in the crowd in the
Mm-hmm.
stands. Michael Irvin kind of bringing back that
Yeah.
prime Miami. And
2000s.
honestly, I talked crap about them, and the
They
fans showed
stepped
out.
up.
There
Yeah.
weren't. It looked like there was like maybe a one row empty, but besides that, it was pretty
No,
full, man.
it looked like a great
And
atmosphere in Miami.
yeah, so I mean, I called you guys out, and you showed up. But
Exactly.
um,
Um,
no,
for
that
yeah.
D line putting pressure on the freshman CJ Carr. I think obviously hasn't been there before. You have
Mm-hmm.
these animals, not animals, but this great D line coming at you, and obviously you get frazzled. And I mean, they put great pressure on him.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, one of them got away and threw that touchdown,
Yeah.
but I mean, I think that defense from last year is but way, way, way improved, just like
Mm-hmm.
LSU. We'll see if they can sustain it,
Yeah.
and if they do, I think they'll be a top 10 team in the country.
Yeah, I think that's the question for both Miami and LSU. On a Notre Dame side of things, you touched on a little. Obviously, they had a CJ Carr he's never played before playing. I think at times they had good stuff with Love going. I would have liked to see them get Faison Greathouse going a little bit more.
Mhm.
Obviously, that didn't come to fruition. Uh,
I would have liked to see they Love like involved earlier.
Earlier, yeah,
Yeah, set the
they
tone
struggled a bit early.
earlier. They kind of went
Mhm.
at him and Price a little later,
Mhm.
and it was working, but they should have set the tone from the beginning because that's what they do at Notre
Mhm.
Dame, man. Especially last year, just run the
Yeah,
ball, and I mean they had Riley Leonard,
you
who
can
was
tell though that
also a running
the
quarterback.
running element CJ Carr
So
doesn't have the same
yeah, yeah, but
ability
I'd
as
still
Leonard.
lean on those two backs because I mean up there with Texas, they're probably the best two backs
Mhm.
in the country. So obviously they can still make the playoffs. They can win out, but they have no conference championship
What's the
game.
hardest game
But
left? Is it USC?
I think so. Let me
Yeah,
look.
might be A&M.
Oh yeah, that's a real tough one right there, man. No, that's another loss, man. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. Yeah,
If they lose to
they play
A&M,
at Arkansas as well, man.
at
That's a tough
Arkansas,
one.
those are
That's a
tough games.
sleeper.
This is
Yeah,
actually an interesting year for Notre Dame. Obviously, rebuilding in a way. They kept a lot of important pieces, but losing a quarterback's obviously big.
yeah, but I mean, we'll see. I think this team will still be really good, and I just want to see him lean on that run game a little bit more early on. But yeah, man, that concludes our
One
reactions.
last thing for
Oh,
Miami though. As a Texas fan, I was really concerned before the game, but then they get in there for that first field goal, and you didn't see any blonde locks sticking out. That's how I knew when if it came down to a field goal, Miami was good, and then it came down to a field goal, and
and
Miami
they
was
were
good,
good,
and
man.
zero worries.
That's funny, man. Yeah, now obviously just college football this weekend, but let's go straight into our top 10 after week one here of your teams.
All right, number one, you can't beat the number one team and not go number one. It's the Ohio State Buckeyes.
I have them as well. We can move straight to
All right,
your number two.
number two, a team that did what they needed to do. I'm not gonna knock them for that. Penn State.
I have LSU here. I think obviously maybe Penn State's a little better, but I don't give LSU its props for coming into Clemson and beating that team.
Yeah, they're my number three. Naturally, they had a great game.
Yeah.
Might have
Penn
the best QB
State
in the
would
country.
be my number three.
Yeah.
So a little flip flop there.
Flip-flop.
Number four, I got Georgia.
Yeah, another team that took care of what they needed to do. They looked good. Stockton looked good. The defense looked good.
Yeah.
You can't really knock them for not playing somebody hard. It's week one.
Yeah.
Those games will come down the line, and we'll really get a better look at who they are.
Exactly. Moving on here to my number five, I got the Oregon Ducks, another team that took care of business and looked. Dante Moore looked pretty good in that game. So.
Yeah, I got the same thing. I got Oregon gonna get five. You can't really knock him.
Yeah.
So.
And then moving on straight to our number six, I got Texas here. Obviously, tough week one game. I think they're still good. They're still probably a top three team in the country, but just had to knock them a little bit for that loss.
Yeah, I have Miami at number 7. I have the U or number 6. Sorry.
Yeah.
They won a big game against a top 10 team. Looked great doing it. That defense looks much better. The offense looks much better. They look like a complete team in a way they didn't look last year. And the other teams behind them lost in my
Yeah, that's fair, man. I went with Miami with my number 7. I just think if they matched up, I think Texas will beat them. So that's why I went that way. But
fair.
I mean, yeah, they're
Especially
one
if it
team's
comes down to
0-1 and one's 1-0. So I agree
Yeah,
with you, but and then
yeah.
moving on
Well,
to number 8.
number 7 for me is
Oh,
the Texas
oh,
Longhorns.
there.
I think we were kind of on the same page, except I saw Texas as having lost, so I kept them below.
That's fair. Yeah, this is the most that we're gonna. This is the only time we're gonna have teams under
Yeah.
500 in these. But moving on here to my number 8, I got the Clemson Tigers. I think obviously LSU is a great team,
Mm-hmm.
tough. They played them a little bit close. They had a chance to take and win that game. I think they're still a top 10 team in the country, so I have to include them.
Yeah, I have Clemson as number 8 as well. I mean, they lost 2 of the team. I now have it 3, only by a touchdown in a game they were close to getting the win. They led for I think more time than LSU did, so you can't really knock them too far.
Yeah.
And I still think they're the ACC favorites, even though I have Miami ranked ahead of them because they got to win.
Yeah. Moving on here to my number 9, I got South Carolina, man. Obviously,
Same again.
they did not look super overly impressive, but Lenore Sellers looked good. He
Mm-hmm.
made a lot of good throws, and I just really like this team heading into this year. So I think they'll be
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
I think this is a team that didn't really take care of the way you'd hope, but they won.
Yeah,
And, they can move forward with the offseason hype I had for them.
yeah. And then my number 10, I think finally will be a little bit different here. I went Florida State, man.
I did go different
Oh,
direction.
oh, you did go
Yeah,
different.
yeah,
I thought you went the same. Yeah.
yeah. No.
I mean, I just had to give them a shout out. Great upset win. A lot of teams that were on that verge, like Florida and stuff. I just want to give Florida State a shout out here in my number 10.
Yeah, I went with the Illinois Fighting Illini, a team that
Oh,
took care of business. They're looking good, and I think they have a lot of expectations maybe coming into this year, and I'm giving them their props to start the year.
yeah. Hey, big game coming up against Duke. I think they're only
So,
favored by 3, which
yeah.
is kind of crazy to me. But yeah, man. Let's go straight into these predictions. A little slower of a week 2 here for college football. We got not as many top 10 or not any top 10 matchups, maybe only even one ranked matchup here. The first one being not ranked, but a rivalry game, the Iowa Bowl, Iowa versus Iowa State. What are your thoughts on this game, man?
Yeah, I'm not betting against Iowa State again. They've looked really good. They dominated last week, and then they had the big win in Ireland the week before. So I'm taking them. Rocco Beck has looked great this year. That O-line looks like it's still doing good, even though they lost those key pieces. The losing Higgins and Noel doesn't seem to have affected them that much. So I'm still running with Iowa State, who has both an offense and a defense, and not just the defense-only Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yeah, I think to me that's the difference in the game. I think obviously I do like Iowa's defense slightly better, but the offense is just on a different level. I think Rocco Beck is a Heisman sleeper. I think he'll be in New York in that top 4. Not saying he's going to win it, but I think he has a very high chance to be there. I think Iowa State will be in that conference championship game and might even win the conference. So I think the team's very pass heavy. Obviously, they can lean on the run with those 2 backs, but I think he'll have some, especially that Kansas game. Kansas State had a big game. I think he'll be in that Final Four up there in New York. But I do think Iowa State takes care of business at home. I think the over/under is probably the highest I've seen it in a couple of years in this game. It's 41.5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty high. It's usually
nice.
30s, low 30s. So maybe a little bit more high scoring than these games. But yeah, I think Iowa State gets the edge here and kind of continues to cement its place as the Big 12 favorite.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with most of what you said. I even think this is a down year for Iowa, especially comparing to some of the years they've had. So I think this is even more reason to pick Iowa State ahead of them.
No, I agree, man. Moving on here to a border war. I added this one. Kansas versus Missouri. Little Kansas City action game. What are your thoughts on this game, man?
Yeah, I think Bo Pribula and Missouri looked decent.
Decent, yeah.
Yeah, nothing special. I think Kansas looked fine week 0. I'm tending to lean Kansas, actually, just because I like another year of that system. I think they're doing really well. Daniels, obviously.
I think he threw for 6 touchdowns
6
or something.
Touchdowns
yeah,
or something.
It's ridiculous.
So I think that's a little better than Bo Pribula only playing his second game. I really like I think Kansas could go a little bit high octane offense in a way Missouri can't. So I'm leaning Kansas on this one.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I think Daniels, and if Kansas goes fast paced like they did end of last year where they
Yeah.
shocked a bunch of teams and all the defense was out of breath, I think it'll be a very high scoring game. I do give the edge to Missouri here. I just think they have more in the trenches. I do think skill positions. I like Kansas is, but I'm gonna go Missouri here in a close, high-scoring game. But I wouldn't be shocked if
Yeah,
Kansas pulls this one away. I think they're very talented, and if they do pull this one away, they'll be thrown in there with some of the Big 12 contenders.
exactly.
And then here, the big game of the weekend.
We're officially 1 for 1 on our college game day predictions.
Yeah, exactly. Move in here. The historic program showdown in Norman, Michigan versus Oklahoma, the rivals of the teams that just played last weekend.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, man. I'll start us off with this one. I think it'll be a great game. It'll be Bryce Underwood's obviously first time in a hostile road environment. And then, like you mentioned earlier, John Mateer looked incredible in that first week. Obviously, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. But, I mean, obviously, it'll be a tough defense and a great defensive coach, excuse me. But I'm going to give the edge to Oklahoma here, not just because of home field. I think their offense is going to really click, and I think I trust John Mateer more than I do Bryce Underwood in this moment in time. And I think it's going to be maybe like a 24-17 Oklahoma win here. I think it'll be a great atmosphere and great game, and I'm just excited to watch these two kind of as like the solo standout game for this weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree here. For the Sharon Moore Bowl, he obviously returns to the team where he started coaching and played down in Norman. So that is a bit of a trip, especially night game, obviously. But I just think Michigan's defense is phenomenal. It's the most underrated in the country. I think Wink Martindale is a great mind, and I think they kept it simple against New Mexico last week. And I think they were a bit slow at times because they couldn't really figure out how to control the game offensively at times, which is why I think New Mexico was able to hang in there or score on them a couple of times. Uh, but I do think that this Michigan team a year ago was able to win some big games against Ohio State, the national champions. And I think that defense is going to be just as strong against Oklahoma, and they are vastly better on offense. They kept 3 offensive line starters who I think are much better now this year, and they're playing on their natural sides. I think they switched from the right to the left, the guard and the tackle. And Al Hadi and Link and Crispin's a good center who I think is having a much better year. The wide receivers looked good. McCauley's a different threat that Michigan hasn't had in a big guy yet. Samaj Morgan's looked good, but the X factors are obviously the running backs. Marshall looked decent, looked good, but Justin Haynes looked phenomenal. 160 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's what you transferred to Michigan for. He looked great. I think he's going to be the X factor. I think he's going to be able to torch some things up for on that offense. And I think we're going to get to see more of Bryce Underwood's running ability against Oklahoma. I think they might have been sieving that a little to really open him up with the rushing and the pass game and seeing the dual threat. And I do think Michigan comes home from Norman with a victory.
Wow. A little shocked, not gonna lie, but I mean, I'm not gonna be shocked.
I mean, after the way John Mateer played last week, it's gonna be
I'm
really, I think it's more common for people to be picking Oklahoma.
I think I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I'm gonna be shocked if Michigan wins, but I do think Oklahoma is gonna take care of business, especially at home. But moving on to our week 1 here, NFL. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's a big show. The NFL. We just had a draft. We obviously did that. I got very lucky. Somebody took a player that was a bit of a reach, and I got a much better player. We're back to a great year, a year where things might be rigged for Kelsey and the Chiefs since he just got engaged to Taylor Swift. But I guess we'll find out in February. A year that could be professed Josh Allen's year, finally his year, or is it finally Lamar's year, or is it Aaron Rodgers' final dance?
I'll tell you, it's not his year, man. All right, man. Straight into our first game there on Thursday Night Football. The banner revealing in Philadelphia. They got the Cowboys coming in, man.
And the Eagles don't even care about the banner. You see, they're not even going out for it. They didn't know it was the thing or something.
Oh, well, that's stupid.
Yeah.
They should. But anyway, yeah, man. My Cowboys coming in, playing the Super Bowl champs. Obviously fresh off the Micah trade. Not very happy. But hey, we got to move forward. Kenny Clark's going to be a dog. Just
I
wait.
think he is going to be a dog.
He's going to help us with that run game, but our pass rush, I think, is still going to struggle. We'll see who stands out. But, I mean, I'm just excited to see Dak back, see him connect with CD again, and see him use his new weapon there, George Pickens, man. But, no, I'm going to sit here and say the Cowboys are going to win this game, man. I think we're going to come in and shock the Eagles maybe a little bit. It's Super Bowl hangover here, man. I was going to sit here and be lame and pick the Eagles and be like, oh, I'm going to be a realistic fan. But why are we fans of teams if we don't support them through delusion? So I'm going to sit here and pick the Cowboys. I do think Dak is going to come out and throw the ball around. We're going to throw it maybe 60 times like he normally does. Maybe he gets sacked 4 to 5 times. But he's going to throw 3 touchdowns, 1 to CD, 1 to Ferguson, and 1 to George Pickens, first drive of the game. But yeah, man, I think we're going to come in. We're going to shock Philly. Obviously, Philly's still going to be great in the season, but we're going to shock them tonight. And everyone, the all-time, like, what's a better thing than to, like, frustrate people than the Cowboys coming in and all the Cowboys fans start going in delusion, and then Stephen A. Smith is, like, going on his rant about Cowboys fans than, like, the first game of the season against the reigning Super Bowl champs, man.
I think Dallas has a better chance of beating Philly the second game in Dallas.
Well, obviously, man.
But I do think I'll be the realistic fan of the show for now, I guess. I think Philly's winning. They're very, very strong. They're the Super Bowl champs. I think they somehow might have even gotten better this year. They did lose, obviously, help on the defensive line, which is going to be the most interesting thing to see about their defense. But Dallas lost an even bigger piece on their defensive line, and they're not even the reigning Super Bowl champs. I think it's going to be a very interesting game because I do think Philadelphia is going to be able to control the game offensively, set the time and set the pace, and then Dallas is just going to cam up here and is like, yeah, but our offense is built to not play with a lot of time. Like, we are going to shoot it out, and I think it's going to be a very good game. I think it's going to be a close game. But I do think in the end it's going to be Philadelphia is going to be up a good 10 points at the end of the game with Dallas trying to come down. I think they'll maybe be able to get it down with a touchdown, but then at the end they fall short.
All right, man. I may or may not.
I think the 8.5 line is crazy.
I may or may not agree with you, but I can't confirm. Moving on here to the Friday night game, a divisional game in Brazil. Chiefs versus Chargers. What a great game to have there in Brazil. Game. Same as last year, Eagles, Packers. What are your thoughts on this one, man? I know you've kind of calmed down a little on the Chargers after
Slater's injury really does scare me. I mean, he's an all-pro going down. That's going to alter things with maybe moving left and everything. So definitely a lot of concerns. You could be with 2 tackles off because of that. I favor Kansas in this game. I think they're very strong as of right now. I like what they have going offensively with Worthy. I think Travis Kelce might take a step up, just a tiny bit step up from where he was a year ago. I think he had too much.
He's fresh off an engagement. He might have a Josh Allen type season.
That defense, I think, is really solid. I like what they did in the draft, even if it wasn't any kind of spectacular. If Slater was playing, like I said, everything changes, but he's not. It's a very close game. Right now, I think I'm like 51% Kansas City right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Chiefs pull it out on this one. I think the difference is going to be, we'll see if the Chargers receivers have improved their separation and catching, obviously. And I think Kansas City is going to get up early, not anything crazy, but I think this Chargers team is built on the run a little bit, and I don't think they can be able to come from behind, especially against this Chiefs team who's experienced and very, very good at keeping the lead and not wasting time, but draining the
Yeah.
clock. And making the Chargers throw, which I don't think is their strong suit. I think obviously that defense and running game is their strong suit. But hey, could change new season. But I think it'll be a really good game. Maybe a little low scoring divisional game. Maybe 20 to
Justin Herbert
17.
has a bit of his own lady magic now. He's celebrity girlfriend.
Is it Madison Beer, right? Yeah,
Madison Beer.
man, what to
We'll
be a
see
quarterback, man.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I'm 6'6".
Yeah,
I'm making $50 million a year.
yeah. I live in LA.
I live in LA. I've been to the Pro Bowl. What else does my life need?
I've thrown 3 interceptions or 4 in a playoff game. Yeah, man, I think it'll be a great game. Moving on to another divisional here, a showdown in the North: Packers versus Lions. What you thinking?
I think this is the
close
most exciting game of Week 1.
I agree. I don't know if Micah's gonna play.
We don't know if Mike is going to play, which does affect it a bit. But it's going to be fascinating to see what the NFC favorites are. I don't know what or not the favorites, probably
NFC North.
NFC North favorites. They were the 1 seed 2 years ago, I'd say. It was 1 year ago. 1 year ago, they were the 1 seed, sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking if they were both 1, but no, I don't think they were 2 years ago.
No.
The 1 seed a year ago, but they lost both of their coordinators to New York and to Chicago. So it's going to be whole new coordinators. That obviously didn't go well for Philadelphia 2 years ago. So I'd like to see a lot how they're able to adjust to that against such a strong team like Green Bay, who's addressed the wide receiver position, addressed the edge position, and are kind of building a fence to really be able to take the challenge. I think Jordan Love is going to be great again this year. I think he was a bit hurt early last year, and that kind of hindered him in his abilities throughout the year. Now he's had a full year to recover, and I think he's going to be very strong. And
What's your pick, man?
I'm going to lean.
It's in Green Bay.
It's in Green Bay. Mm-hmm. The Micah thing scares me right now, so I'm going to go with the Lions for now.
Yeah, I think, Micah Parsons is a big swing. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a great game, great battle. I think it'll be interesting to see how Detroit, if this offense is still, they have all the talent for it to still be as talented as it was, but we'll see if they can still be the type of offense that can put up 50 any given night on any given defense. They have the potential for it, obviously. I think it'll be good to see their defense being healthy again. Aiden Hutchinson's back.
Yeah.
Obviously, also a great addition or great player to get back. I think the key for Green Bay is Jordan Love limiting those turnovers. Was very fumble and interception prone this last year. That would kind of include blocking Aiden Hutchinson because he'll be a game wrecker. But if Micah Parsons is in there, Green Bay was already one of the most forced turnover teams in the league, and now adding a guy that can get a sack fumble every other game is going to add to it. Yeah. So I do think Green Bay is my favorite for the North. I do think they're going to win this game. I really like their additions, and obviously Matthew Golden, I think he's going to be a sleeper for a great player. And if Josh Jacobs can do what he did last season, it'll be great. But I do have Josh Jacobs and the Packers and Jordan Love winning this game in a close game. But, Detroit can still come in and win this one.
Yeah, it's a very – you can pick either game kind of side. I still lean Detroit, but it's going to be very close.
Very, very good game, man.
Right. What's next on our agenda?
Here we got the Battle of the Horns, the Texans versus Rams. I'll go straight into this one. I think two teams that are very talented. Obviously, some injuries here for the Texans with Tank Dell being out, but Rams still with that Matthew Stafford question mark. I do like the Rams a lot this year. We both picked them to go to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. I do think the Rams win this one. I think the Texans have a great defense, young defense. They'll be really good. The Rams do as well. But I just trust Matthew Stafford. This is assuming he's going to play. Yeah. And his new weapon of Devontae Adams and Puka and Kyron Williams and all those guys to take care of the Texans.
Yeah, I have the Rams in this one as well for a lot of what you just said. it's just having a lot more faith in them. I have more faith in McVay than I do uh,
Demico.
D'Amico, Ryans. I have a lot more faith in Stafford than Stroud. If he plays, obviously, I have more faith in Puka and Devontae than I do in is Tank gonna play? Is he fully healthy? How's the situation? Like we don't
Christian
know what he's
Kirk's
gonna
wide
look
receiver
like
too, man.
exactly. And Nico Collins. I have more faith in Kyron Williams than I do in a Chubb who's returning from kind of 2 years of injury, really, because Mixon's not playing. I have more faith, honestly, in that Rams defense. So I think it's going to be a Rams win, and I don't think it's going to be particularly as close as some people have it out there. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I could see a touchdown to 10-point win for the Rams.
Yeah, no, another game I'm kind of excited about. And then here, the last game we have on the slate, a Sunday night football game, Bills, Ravens. I
That's
mean, great matchup.
yeah.
This is the game I'm most excited, except the Cowboys game.
You mean
We're gonna
Steelers
win.
Jets,
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers revenge game?
Yeah. Yeah, man. Who you got in this game? I think it's in Buffalo, correct? Or
It's in no, I think it's in Baltimore. Is it? I'll get us in going on it anyway while our research department finds the answer for us.
Yeah, Buffalo.
It's in Buffalo. Okay. I still have the Buffalo Bills winning because I favor Josh Allen over I do Lamar Jackson. I think that's kind of point one. Point two is I do favor the Ravens defense, but I don't think the gap is big enough to where I think it really changes a lot of the outcome of my decision. I like the Bills offense. I think what they can do with James Cook is a lot more different than what the Ravens one offers. I don't think the Ravens are a better team than they were a year ago, and that's a team that lost to the Bills, while the Bills I think got better than they were a year ago. So I think that's kind of my key deciding factor. Uh, so I think Coleman and Shakir could have not the most exciting games, but I do think Allen and Cook can.
Yeah, I think I'm also going to pick the Bills here. Obviously, Bills Mafia going
Mm-hmm.
to be riled up being at the first game of the season, but also having the Ravens come back in, especially after
Yeah.
that playoff game. Obviously, we saw the Bills come out of that one, so I have more of the same. I think Josh Allen is just the best player in football right
Yeah.
now. So to me, that's good enough.
Yeah.
They're returning similar teams, so I'm liking the Bills. I think the Ravens didn't address. Obviously, Zay Flowers had a great
Mm-hmm.
season, but they didn't address the need for a true wide receiver one. So I think it'll be a lot of the same struggles in the playoffs and the
Yeah.
season. So I am gonna pick the Bills here as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we both picked them for the Super Bowl, so that should not
Yeah,
come as a surprise to a lot of people here, to our 100 subscribers.
100. Yep. Thanks, guys.
Of course, we do this for y'all. All right, let's transition onto the next phase of our show. We are back to Fantasy Explosion.
Woo! Let's go.
All right, you want to get us kicked off?
Yeah, man. I got. Sometimes I'm biased and I include players on my team, man, but this one I really feel it. The man himself, Emeka Abuka, 12 and a half points. Obviously, Godwin, Otten, and McMillan are out this game. Baker against the Falcons last year had over 500 yards and 5 touchdowns in 2 games. So I think he's going to find his new weapon, Abuka, a lot. And we saw he's going to be in that slot position like Godwin was last year. We saw Godwin before he got hurt kind of eat up. I mean, he only has basically Bucky, Ibuka, and Evans to go to, so I think he'll find him early, and I think he'll soar over that 12.5 points.
Yeah, for my first one, I'm sticking with the same position. I'm going DJ Moore. I think just look at that Lions offense a year ago with Ben Johnson. I think he's going to try to utilize DJ Moore in a way similar to Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I think he's going to get a lot of receptions, and he's kind of going to be the he's the veteran go-to guy that a young QB like Caleb Williams has right now, and we've seen DJ Moore's capable of going for those 25-point games. And while yes, Minnesota's defense is strong and the secondary is decent, I don't think it's any kind of spectacular to where they're going to be able to stop the high amount of weapons that Chicago has enough to where I think DJ Moore can shine.
Yeah, I like that one, man. Moving on. Honestly, mine are all the same position. I just realized, but my number two is the man himself, C.D. Lamb, 16.8. Obviously, a high total there, but I mean, Dak is back. The gang's back together. They should be trailing most of the game, so they'll be pass heavy. So why not find the PPR machine, C.D. Lamb? I think he'll get in the end zone once. He's in the not this past season, obviously, but in the history, he's kind of torched up Philadelphia. So I kind of see that going again, and I think he'll have a big game here of 25 points.
All right, for my second one, I have one who's got an even higher point total than CD. I got Kyron Williams. We've talked about how I think the Rams are going to have a much better game against the Texans, and I think part of that's going to be the run game against Kyron Williams. I think Kyron Williams was doing really well at the end of the year last year, and I think he's able to continue that this year with more threat in the passing game right now than it was a year ago. So Houston's able to play a little further back, and that opens things up for Kyron Williams to surpass his projected total.
Yeah, man. Moving on here to my number three, the last one. I got two rookies on this. I just noticed. Mr. Tet McMillan, 14.06 points. Um, yeah, it's a new weapon for Bryce Young. Obviously, Thielen on his way out, so I think even more opportunity for him there. I think they'll try to get him involved early. A guy like that, you have to keep feeding, especially early in the season. And Jacksonville was a bottom three pass defense last year. I think this is a great opportunity for McMillan to come out with a bang.
Yeah, I really like that one. My last one is T.J. Hawkinson. Uh, I mean, you have a young QB making his first start, his first ever regular season appearance with a very great offensive coach who used to be a quarterback. He knows that a young quarterback's safety net is the tight end, especially one that is so good in the red zone like T.J. Hawkinson. So I could see maybe even a 2-touchdown game from Hawkinson. And I think he's going to be the absolute go-to guy. He's going to get a ton of PPR from McCarthy.
All right, I like those as well. Moving straight from our fancy explosion to our best bets. Hopefully, we can help you out. Help
Yeah,
you guys
hopefully we
out
bounce
more
back.
more this weekend, man. Yeah, man, you want to start us off?
I'll start us off. Little quick return to college football here. I have Arizona State minus 6.5. I don't think Mississippi State's a good team at all, to be frank. I think the line's kind of low, which I love that for. I think Sam Levitt's one of the best quarterbacks in college football. I think Kenny Dillingham's a great coach, one of the best. And just you were able to see how they were to hang with teams last year. You get Tyson, and I think this is a primed ready. They didn't have the greatest game last week, but they looked very good. And I think this is a good chance to unleash the offense against a weak team. And I think they're going to be able to cover a lot more than if the line was 6.5.
Is that your only bet, then?
No.
No,
And then
yeah,
for
just
my
run through yours.
okay, my second one, I don't think you're gonna like this one. I have Michigan plus 4.5. I've mentioned how I think they're going to win, but even if they don't, I don't see this game being more than a field goal. If Oklahoma were to win, because I think Michigan's defense is too strong to allow a lot of points. So I think they're going to keep it close no matter what. For the NFL, I've mentioned them 3 times already how much I like them. The Rams this week at -3, I think are a great option. I don't think Texans are going to be particularly close enough to that 3-point line. And lastly, I have Baker at over 239 yards. I think he got into some of Baker's passing stats a year ago. I think this passing offense might be set up even better this year. You obviously have Igbuka, a first-round rookie, playing. So I think this is, and Baker I think is coming off of a couple of good years in a row, and I think this is really his chance to take a even step further. And I think Atlanta is also a good offense. It's going to be kind of a shootout, and they're both going to be going to it until the end, and you can't really rely on the run game in a game like this. So I think it's going to be a good game for Baker to hit his over.
Yeah, man. I like those bets. I'm not gonna lie. There's one I don't like, the Michigan.
Michigan, yeah.
Yeah, but
I figured.
here for my college football ones, I got Texas minus 36.5 points against San Jose State. I just think they're gonna just work on their offense and try to put up as many points as they can, and I think they're just gonna kill this team just so to show like, hey, we're still Texas. And I mean 36.5. Obviously, it's a lot of points, but I think they'll do it. Moving on to, I got OU minus 4.5. I do think they'll take care of business, and I do think they'll win from 7 to 14 points. So I don't mind laying 4.5 points with them there. And then I got Iowa State minus 2.5. We mentioned how much we like them. I think they'll win, and they'll win pretty handily. So 2.5 just seems a little low for me, especially at home. And then moving on to NFL, Cowboys plus 8.5. Even though I said we're gonna win, I think it's way too high of a total. It went up, I think, 2 points since we traded Micah as well. So I think it'll be even if we lose a field goal or touchdown game. Those Eagles Cowboys game are usually somewhat close, especially when both teams have their players available. Moving on, I got Bengals and Browns under 47.5. I just don't think the Browns can put up that many points.
Thing is, the Browns, as long as
No.
they like score 10 points,
Yeah.
the Bengals are capable of putting up 37.
No, but I think the Browns defense is good enough to keep the
Yeah.
Bengals around the high 20s,
No, yeah,
30s.
yeah, definitely.
So
Yeah,
I don't
that
think the
game's gonna
Browns
like a
can put
24
up.
to 10.
Yeah, I don't think the Browns can put up more than 10 points. So that's just me personal.
It
And
is
then-
the Bengals defense.
I know, but the Browns, man. And then moving on here, I got a parlay of 2 money lines. I went 0-2 in the one last week, but hey, I feel like this one's a little bit safer. I got Jaguars money line against the Raiders at home. Just like the Jaguars better. I think they have a great offense, and I think they're gonna win. Wait, do they play the Raiders? No. Who? Not the Raiders. I'm sorry.
Jaguars.
Panthers. I'm
Jaguars
so sorry.
play the Panthers.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Raiders. Raiders play the Patriots.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Jaguars. I think I like Trevor Lawrence obviously better than Bryce Young. I like the defense slightly better, and I like the weapons better.
BTJ
for
is
Jaguars.
great.
Yeah, and it's
We'll
at
get to see Travis
Jacksonville
Hunter
as
in real
well.
action for the first time.
Exactly. And then I got the Broncos are 8-point favorites against the Titans, I think.
Yeah, they play the Titans.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, so I just had them in there to bring the money line juice from the Jaguars down a little bit. And then lastly, I got Bills money line. I think they'll take care of business at home against the Ravens. Don't want to risk the 2 points, so just did a money line there. But yeah, that's all we got for you guys today.
All right.
Thank you guys for watching, and
we'll see you all
tune
next
in.
week.
Enjoy fantasy football being back, and we'll see you next week.